And that's why the brother Ahmed earlier, if you were here, that's why he seems so enthralled with the rage. Because like, you know, he's just black supremacy, and you know, I have black friends and this kind of stuff. It's like, it's crazy. So what I'm saying is, this is the challenge that we face day to day, right? And this is what people don't understand. So that's the answer to your question.
Content over everything.
The idea of, in order to support one community, you have to be part of that community. That's like a bit like Malcolm X's idea, where before, when it was still in the Nation of Islam, where, you know, whites didn't help us, but they can't be part of our movement, as it were.
Where did you say?
I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along the lines when he was part of the Nation of Islam, where, you know, whites can help us, but they can't be part of the movement.
Right. Yeah. I don't think they can even help, to be honest.
And he said he was a MI6
what the brother's saying, in his country, where you have black Egyptians and you have white skinned Egyptians as well, and often in your family you have people who, you know, your auntie could be black, other one could be white as well. This concept of having exclusive help groups can seem very foreign, and that's so we have to see it from his perspective.
Well, let's break things down now.
Yeah.
Do you have a sister?
Yes.
Do you love her?
Yes.
If she told you that she's joining a woman empowerment, right? And what is, women come together, they learn how to love each other, they learn how to do constructive things, and they teach themselves many things that they were lost through patriarchy, whatever, right? Would you stop her? Would you ask to join this woman's group?
Would I ask to join it?
Would you go, can I join the women's group? No. And that's my point. It's like, did you feel that your sister's going to be taken away, you never see her ever again?
Yeah.
She's going to come home after they finish. She's going to be the same woman it is. But with black people, there's this special fear that they're going to be whisked off to a new dimension where no one's going to see them. And it's weird. It's very weird. Right? But that's what I'm saying. And this is what I'm saying. Look at our own biases, where we don't see this for other people groups. But black people, we reserve the right to want to keep them. Like I said, you got to understand, right? Look at the history you have with black people in this country and just around the world, right? It is a history of mistreatment, right? It's gone on for so long that in the back of our minds, we might not even know that we're continuing that concept. We might not even know that, right? That's why we have to have this day-to-day iron out what's actually happening and analyze the data. And that's why when you speak to the brother who came here, he couldn't actually articulate anything.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to talk too much about that brother's case, but it seems as if, with all due respect,
go ahead.
It seems a bit like a bit of paranoia, where you feel that this kind of exclusive treatment towards black people, this is only towards us. But how do you know that, you know, if they want people, non-blacks want to try and help?
Oh no. So
why, for example, they might have a white group where they try and support, maybe they want to promote white culture and heritage, but you might be, I'm sure you're open to non-whites as well. Why would a non-white not be able to join his group and support that movement then?
Well, would you try to fight to join your sister's group? Sisters empower your sisters.
That's different.
Why is it different? Because this is important. So this is what I'm saying. How people process information. Black people always have to hold the heavy load. Go ahead.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying.
I didn't say that. No,
I'm saying. Go ahead.
With male and female, it's different.
Oh, is it?
Because women would feel uncomfortable with a man's presence being there, simply because their eyes in which they're looking, they could be flirtatious, you might be having different intention for being there. But if it's a male only, right, then there's not going to be that same worry, is there?
Okay, so I'll give this. You probably haven't seen some of my videos in the past, but I've always said there's a value in self-determination, right? So,
if we're talking micro or macro,
how macro can it be?
From a nation state to the individual.
No, so what I'm saying is some people take it too far, right? I'm saying that if black people recognise it's something they need to do, they need to do it. And yeah, the value in self-determination is important. Like meaning that me and this brother come together, we fix ourselves. That's what it is. That's it. We fix ourselves.
No scholars now.
That's right, bro. You're welcome to join, bro. Welcome to join. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, there's a value in this kind of stuff, right? What is it that what is it that you feel you're not getting when this is being practiced? What is it?
It's not so much that I don't get. I get the idea that each community has to lead on supporting their own people.
What does help me? What does help me?
Realising where the problems are, whatever they may be, and identifying how to resolve that issue.
Right. So if it's like this, yeah. If we decide that we want to be self-trained,
why is it we?
Huh?
Why is it we?
In what sense?
You a number of times I've noticed you said we, and you're pointing to the brother.
Well, because right now there's a big black community, right? And then you have the Somali side, you have the Nigerian, you have the Afro Caribbean, right? sub-Saharan African side, whatever you want to call it, I don't care, right? But so if a policeman was to come here now, me and him have the same code. Yeah,
I get that. I get that. Yeah, there's prejudice out there.
As a Somali, we don't agree with that, but it's a code in this country.
Yeah, the world branches black people together, right? So
no, you're talking from the Western perspective.
Well, where are we at the moment?
But you see the globe.
But where are we at the moment?
This is England. This isn't the whole world. This isn't representative of the whole world, is it?
Yeah, but mate, what I'm saying is this is where we get confusion. We're trying to have solutions, right? So if we get very wishy-washy with stuff, we don't get no solution.
But African people don't agree with that idea
of course. But what I'm saying is today, today, it's like you have to, wherever you are, you have to do where you are, right? So this brother recognised that the Somali community in London has to fix themselves.
Yeah. My code is black.
I support that.
Yeah.
I've
in
made
this
that
world,
very clear.
I'm black in my code. But even though Somalis don't agree that we are black, but still we are
So you're saying you
black.
fix your own community first, and then before you can.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
which I get. That. I get that.
I support that. It's the exclusive.
Oh no, 100%. It has to be.
Why only for that community?
Well, here's the answer. So it's like this. Right now, certain communities have a way. So for example, you're Asian, right?
I'm Turkish, right?
Okay, you're Turkish. Well,
Long live Turkey.
Long live Turkey. All right. But okay, so I would say is it Bangladeshi and maybe the Indian
Wait. I need
community
to
have
do
a
a shout out
monopoly
for
on, say, the
I'm
the
going
hair.
to give you a shout out, innit?
When it comes to the hair industry, as it pertains to black hair.
Oh, hair industry.
Yeah,
Okay.
as it pertains to like black women buying products, they tend to go to Asian.
Okay.
community,
Wait.
So already there's an industry set up. Yeah. So one of the goals we want to do is have more control in the sense of have black women control their own black hair.
Now I'm going to do it.
Now, is it going to be in the best interest of the Asian to give up that massive share of the market?
Shout out for rare.
Is it equal market? The fact is you have Asians who dominate in English, for example.
Okay, Burkarol.
So black hair products
Hair
are predominantly sold
Ancelotti,
by
Hair Bondere,
Asian
Hair Bellagio,
and they're selling to black
Arab,
women.
Hair
Right?
Hammer,
So,
Wayne,
is it in the
Hair
Asian
Shingani,
best
Hair
interest
Ogaden,
that you just
Hair
give up that
Shashia, Hair Baraden, Hair Majerteni, Hair Gutland.
Members of the Asian
Assalamu
community
alaikum.
have seen that the market
Hair
to
Garre,
sell to black
Hair
women based
Oromo.
on their hair products.
Why is it wrong, bro? Relax.
Members of the Asian community,
Yes.
from what you're saying,
Yes.
have identified that there's a demand
Yes.
by black women for hair products, and therefore they've actually been enterprising enough to open up shops
And I
for
support
that
them.
community.
But what I'm saying is, when it
I
comes,
don't see any kind of racist agenda behind this. I just see people trying to make money.
okay, so remember what I just said. Did anyone say racist agenda? Did anyone say racist agenda? And that's my problem.
No, I'm not saying that you said that.
No, but your area is
the
you're
reason
there.
I say
You're
that,
there.
the reason I say that,
Tell me
I'll
why.
clarify.
Please, go
because
ahead.
the reason I say that because you've said Asian people have opened shops and black people are buying from that shop.
Okay.
Therefore, your answer to that, because you see it as a problem, I don't really see that as a problem.
Okay, so
And
that's
say the
why you can't.
betterment-
That's why you're not welcome to the meeting.
Thank you very much.
But does that make
But-
sense?
But you
does
see it as
that
a
make
problem.
sense? No problem.
There's nothing stopping black women from opening shops
Thank you,
for their hair
thank you,
products.
thank you. You feel my point.
Right.
So in that black group, they're going to talk about how to open shops. But at no point are they going to expect the Asian market to go, here's all our secrets. We don't expect
What's
that.
this Asian market? Are Asians getting together and saying, right guys,
It doesn't
we're
matter.
going to
if
open
they
hair
are.
product
It doesn't
shops
matter.
for
Here's
black
what it is, right?
women?
Let's break it down. They are black. It's like you're Turkish, right? So let's just talk about the Indian market. An Indian will predominantly buy Indian fabrics from Indians, right?
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Maybe imported, I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, okay.
But,
So
but
what?
there's a reason behind that, isn't there?
Well, that's good. What I'm saying is that's just the normal nature thing to do. So in order for black people to fix up, we have to fix why that isn't the case. That's what it is. So, but we don't expect someone from a different community group who has their own principles going on to necessarily be able to help us in the full spectrum. And it's not self-determined, is it?
I agree.
It's like
I
this.
agree.
At no point should black people be buying black concepts and black ideas from non-black people. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, and if you want to actually empower people, they need an economic stance, right? And your economics should actually come from your culture. So if you're buying your culture from other people, it's a problem. Now you know this. But when we talk in groups, nobody knows this.
No, but there's certain elements.
What's the
right?
element?
For example, a black country comes up, they say we want to take on capitalism. Right? But was the concept of capitalism made by a black person or black groups?
Where are you going?
You're saying that black people need to come up with their own system.
No.
Right?
Well, yes, but
So
that's
democracy,
no,
capitalism,
I'm talking.
communism.
You got too far.
Right,
See, and that's where black people get lost because we go so far and then we all go home and nothing is done. It's very simple. Yeah, you have a shop. I want black people to have a shop. That's it. Yeah, you have a school. I want black people to have a school. Yeah.
Do black people not have a school to go to?
Well, they do. But what I'm saying is, it has to be more black-centered, right? So, just like you have cultural schools, there needs to be more emphasis on black cultural schools and black businesses. So, for example, if you have an Indian shop that sells Indian saris, I want the black people to have black African stuff where they actually get the fabric from Africa, they import it, they sell it, and black people buying it.
They have that. You see that in Boston.
Yeah, of course, but I want more of it, right? And also, when it comes to the black hair product, I would like black women to be selling black hair products to black women because they understand what is more needed for that. And that's a business I think that they can excel in because we understand that black women spend a lot of money. So already, that's money that's going to circulate in the black community from grassroots.
Black women should be encouraged to do that because they have better product knowledge.
Well, of course.
In terms of that sense, yes, I would say fine.
And that's why black people are going to come together. But that might be one issue that.
But when you say your culture,
of course,
isn't it a little bit racist to say black culture as if it's one monolith?
Well, that's what's beautiful about black culture. It's a collection of many cultures. Just like if I said Asian culture, it's a collection of many cultures. And that's what's
so if you was to have a black school, as you suggested,
yes,
what would they teach in the school?
Well, we'd probably be Pan-African school. Probably be like African studies.
Would it be, because I was interested, obviously, because normally faith schools do that. If it was a black school, would Christians, Muslims all be together under a black bracket?
Well, it would.
Because they're obviously different.
They wouldn't necessarily use the term black. It'd probably be like African-centered schools. I mean, I say black because when you come here, you have to use one word, you have to use another word, but the term would be African-centered school.
So would a black Muslim, I keep going on about Islam, but would a black Muslim be welcome in that school who probably has a completely different ideology maybe too?
Sure, of course. There's many black Muslims who go to those schools already who might be in lead in trying to get them out there. I mean, it's only the part where people try to make distinctions between black Muslims and non-black Muslims. It's like, for me, I don't think it's quite disingenuous.
I completely get why black people need to keep themselves in groups to help themselves.
But what's interesting is the non-black people of why they feel they have to intervene. That's for me, that's fascinating because there's not one black person who feels they need to intervene in a Turkish affair or an Asian affair or a European affair. No, they're not even part of this. Like, do your thing in it. You know, if you recognise there's something you need to build on, go build it. It doesn't make any sense, but
I'm not saying that black people shouldn't have groups to support their communities.
No, but the difference is,
I'm just saying, if I wanted to come and support that, you're saying no because you're black. That's the issue I'm having.
But here's the note. It's like,
do you think an all-white school would be supported?
Well, they exist all over England. No one says anything.
But they don't sell themselves as they're not. That may happen off the record. But I've never heard of a white school.
Well, there has to be a purpose for something happening, right?
Yes.
So when we say all black, it's almost like to say like there isn't a historical context of why this needs to happen. You're fixing something that was lost. That's what it is. White people, just like when I talk about a woman's group, right? They're fixing something that was lost because of what men have done. Yeah. So to go, what about all man kind of groups?
I'm just interested in because you were sort of saying that black people aren't bothered if there's sort of other groups around. They don't get involved.
No.
But I'd just be interested. If there was a white school set up, would there not be black people saying, "Hang on a minute"?
The white group has to establish what it is they're coming under. There has to be a purpose. So if you're in a dominant community group, right, where you've historically you have much, there is no real point coming in for that. Well, the funny thing is that happens anyway.
Yeah.
And so whatever. But what I'm saying is, you wouldn't necessarily announce it like, guys, we want to keep power, or whatever it is. I wouldn't know. Right? But what was more important or interesting was this concept like, I want to help you, and why can't I help you? This is wrong. It's like this kind of like this forceful help, isn't it?
I didn't say it's wrong. I support the groups that are out there to support other members of humanity, right? And there's different sections, black community or other communities that are out there. As I said, the only problem that I feel is if I wanted to come and
what would
support,
you do? But what would you do?
You might have a project, you may have a seminar. I might want to support them.
Yeah, so
I have a genuine interest in different cultures.
You might have a skill that people might invite you, but here's what it is, and this is what's the wicked thing. Black people are so mistreated and so marginalised that
That's
if
true.
we actually told you what we wanted, you have a heart attack. You literally have a heart attack, and you go, you know what? I cannot do that. We can prove it now. I can prove it now, right? Okay. Here's what we want. Anytime amongst your community, right, or family or friends, anytime mistreatment or racism is being practiced, you have to come and let us know straight away. Just come, they will give you a number
Racism to who?
towards black people. So anytime you hear racism being uttered, racism being practiced, you ring black people. By the way, my Uncle Charlie.
What would happen to the person?
Nothing. Nothing. Say again.
Why would we have to inform you?
Here's why. Because
He said black people never build a Kaaba.
yeah, cool.
I'm trying to show
Here's
him
why.
that
Because
black people have all the scholars to
because
build a
you're
Kaaba.
asking. So right now I'm going, black people, let's come together and fix ourselves, right? Cool. And then you're going, I want to help. So I'm like, okay, here's how you're gonna help. And then they go, well, why? And
That doesn't seem very practical.
see, and that's why you're not welcome. Does it make sense?
But if
I would have other ideas.
Well, it wouldn't matter because you can't come and leave. See what
I'm not saying I want to leave.
No, but that's exactly because it's like this. You want to join the Black Betterment group. We're telling you what we want, and you're saying, "No, I want to do something else."
Okay, I'll give you an example. Sorry, please.
Because
Why would we need to call someone and tell them that Mike is being racist?
because right now black people are doing their own thing, and non-black people are asking to join, and we're giving you a particular role. And if you cannot execute that role, then you have no value to us. You can't. How can you join something? It's like me. It's like me. Guy, I really want to join a woman betterment group, right? And the first thing I want to do is they say, okay, let us know when sexism is being practiced, right? And then, yeah, brother, please. We're gonna help this brother. Yeah. And the first thing I want, welcome sister. The first thing I want to do is actually tell them, no, we're not going to do what you want. I want us to talk about pink leggings.
Well, that would be wrong.
Yeah.
That's not what I mean by people trying to support. Right.
I beg you take it over there, brother, man. The figure of speakers calls people might be suffering.
I'll give you an example which we can all relate to. The brother that came, he's a Somalian patriot person.
Yeah.
I totally respect that. He was teaching me things about his culture.
Excellent.
Right. Now, I made a suggestion to him.
Yeah.
Right. Where the English-speaking world isn't exposed to Somalian heritage or history as it should be. Right? So maybe yourself or maybe some of your group get together, maybe start writing some articles, write some books, maybe translate some of the poetry and share that beauty. And actually, that will be more of an effective way to minimise discrimination against people who may think Somalians haven't contributed to civilization. The same could be said with your culture.
But if you were to meet me on the street, you could give me that advice, but you wouldn't be welcome in closed-door conversations about them because that's not what we're talking about.
You can have your clothes.
Sorry, but why do non-black people have a problem with black businesses and black groups and all of that type of stuff? I don't get it. There's an Asian community, there's a Turkish community. Why can't there be a black community with black businesses?
They should have.
Like, and then some non-blacks become like, oh, it's racist. It's racist. How is it racist? How is it racist when you lot have your own community? And how is it racist when we're having like a black-only group? And of course, like non-blacks can talk, but then they bring in their own ideologies and shit. Like, and it's just confusing to me personally.
So
you know
what?
I'm
So
saying? 'Cause
encouraging.
If a group of like Pakistanis or whatever who are talking, I'll be like, all right, cool. They're doing their own thing.
I've explained this system, but so
I haven't got an issue with that.
but the thing is, the brother doesn't, but he does in the same because he wants the ability to join black betterment groups, and I told him that if you were to join, we would have requests, but I suspect that the requests we have, they won't want to do.
Yeah.
And the first request is, go amongst your community, and anytime racism is being practiced, let us know. When I said that, hearts started dropping.
Yeah.
This was too much to ask. This was.
Yeah, you mean?
Yeah.
Let me clarify on my own behalf.
Now,
The brother suggested that.
hold on.
No, but you're speaking on my behalf.
No, I'm speaking on Connected, bro.
You're saying not my heart drop when I said that.
No.
Oh my god.
Connected.
Oh my god.
It's not for you personally, but it's a universal thing that I've
But then don't put me in that.
No, well, bro, to be honest, it's a circle here, bro, and you're not.
No, but you're speaking on my behalf.
Well,
But it's a general statement.
it's a general
You don't have to
statement,
take personal.
No. Because
disdain
we
for
was
it.
talking and we was talking about this particular example.
Well, he's put himself
Because the brother,
in the
Yeah,
I
but
said,
he's re-generalised it.
one moment, bro. I'll explain
Yeah.
to you, and then you can tell me what you think about it. Yeah. Raven said, Raven's your name, right?
That is my
Sorry, yeah. So Raven said that, right? You want to try and support black betterment groups, right? Okay, you can't join us, but what you can do as non-blacks is if you hear any kind of prejudice statements against the black community in your family, then you let the groups know, right? Now, what I said as a response to that is, that's not very practical. And I gave the example of when I spoke to a Somalian brother, what will be more practical is, if we don't know much about your culture, maybe you can get together, write some articles, get some books out
what
there,
have you done?
and that would
What have
educate
you done?
people to minimise prejudice against that
You've asked to
community.
join something.
That's not a hard
Hold on.
job.
Let us see what
I
you've
just
done.
wanna
That's for the
clarify.
camera, right?
Yeah, go
You've
for
asked to join something. Yeah? We've given you our requirements. You've negated them and gone with something else.
That's your idea you just came up with.
He was saying
I'm suggesting an idea which would be better for the community.
No,
Yeah,
but you're not qualified to make that distinction.
I'm speaking for myself.
Of course, and that's why you're not welcome.
The brother is speaking as an agent from within the black community, and he's giving you what his opinion would be the best thing. Now, 2 or 3 or however many other black people are here, and they haven't gone against that. But you, as someone, as a non-black, said it's not practical. Now, I don't understand how anyone can say it's not practical to call out racism.
I mean, I'm not trying to impose my view on the black community.
No, that's fine, but it seems that you're saying your idea was better. So ideologically, you're saying that your idea was better, which means it's superior to the idea that he.
No, I feel my opinion against Raven's opinion, not Raven as a member of the black community, Raven as a person.
Right.
He came up with an idea, and I came up with my idea.
Right.
I feel that my idea would be more practical, but
why,
you're inclined to agree.
Can we explain why Raven's idea is not practical? Why is it not practical to call out the racism?
Okay, so let's say somebody in my community or my family said something racist against the black community.
Right.
That's wrong, yeah? I let the group know, then what?
No.
How does that change anything? But what I'm saying is, if we teach something...
Well, you can. Do you want to ask a question?
I want to give it a chance, but I just want to clarify because I'm being made out to look like something that I'm not.
No, and you're free from all this. So like I said, no one's going to say you're a Raven racist, right? Yeah, no one's going to say this. But what I'm going to say is, your psychology is why you're not welcome in the groups, because you've been conditioned in society to think that way, and this is of no value to black people. It's like this. Once again, the only way I can make you feel what black people are saying is by changing the name of black people. If women said, in order for men to help women, all we want is make sure you let us know when rape is being committed, rape is being committed, or sex is being committed, would we push back and say we can't do this, it's not practical? We go, yes, this is good.
That isn't the same example.
That
would be like if I see someone who's hitting a black person and I keep quiet about that, because that's an extreme example.
Okay,
a woman getting raped.
So what you've done is now you've minimalised the effects of racism.
No.
But you have, because
I haven't.
You've likened rape, You've likened rape to someone getting beat up. But in your eyes, racism doesn't reach the level of, and racism can come in all sorts of
different levels.
Yeah, can come in all sorts of levels. You've minimalised it to come under raping and someone being physically beat up.
No.
Although racism can include those two actions.
We were using the example of women and black people. Yeah?
Right.
So you're saying a racist comment. So
we weren't saying racist comment. We said racism.
Okay,
in any of its form.
Define what that you meant by that.
Racism is a massive thing. Racism is...
No, you hear something racist in your family.
If you see racism in your community,
any racism,
as a Muslim generally, I would expect you to call it out.
No,
before even saying
call it out.
Right. So then
I would call it out, of course. But he's saying that if you mention it to the group, now that's not so much of an issue. Right?
It's like this.
But what I'm saying is,
here's why we
which I think would be more practical.
Take
it or not, up to you.
Fair enough. Do you not think it would be more practical that those who claim to be non-racist practitioners in the community, when they see racist practitioners within the community, that they physically, or ideologically or intellectually take a stand against them and tell them this is not acceptable.
I agree with
right?
that.
Personally, that's what I would like to see, but it doesn't seem to be from a lot of brothers. And I'm not saying you because I don't know you personally, but a lot of brothers, they see it in their households and they just shake it off because it doesn't affect them.
I wasn't disagreeing with the statement. I was just coming up with an idea which I feel would be more practical. Right. That's what it is. And let me give you a bit of background. I'm from Turkish community, from Cyprus. I've got black heritage as well, going back, which probably explains a bit about the dark skin. Right. And we've got an own organisation. We talk about Turkish heritage from Cyprus.
Can I join?
You can join if you want to, okay? You can join if you want to, no problem. Right? And I've given talks in Black History Month about black members of the Turkish community who are from Cyprus, and we've got a rich history of that. And you may have not known that there were black Turks.
No, I know. I've been watching those school.
Afro-Turks,
No,
we're not.
yeah,
I was
we do
talking
know.
about that, and I was promoting it, and I was sitting in a panel with members of the black community from various, like some were from the Caribbean, some were from Africa as well.
Yeah.
So
Was the majority of the crowd African Caribbean crowd or
majority were
right?
majority
Okay.
were.
See,
But
what I believe
that's wrong. That should be more open.
Right, and what I believe is that that education, first and foremost, should go to the Cypriot Turkish community themselves.
We know.
Yeah.
We know about this because we have members of our family who are like that.
Fair enough. Is there no issues with racism within the Turkish Cypriot community?
There's racism in every community.
Yeah.
There's racism in every community.
Right.
I feel there must be racism in the black community as well.
Fair enough. But I'm saying, is that being acknowledged?
But the thing is, sometimes it gets very weird because we start pretending that black betterment is about direct racism, right? And what I'm saying is,
sorry. I feel that Ahmed might see that in that way because in his country, blacks and whites mix regularly, and that might be feeling like a foreign concept.
And we can't slow down for his pace because we can't slow our work because people like him don't understand. But what I can say is, it's like this. There's betterment work that needs to be done, right? And there's a value in black people coming together to work together. Now, as an individual, if you want to join, you can't join, but you can maybe do, and you can do. It's like this. Nothing is stopping you directly from actually just making an organization called Friends for Humanity, or whatever it's called, and then have black education. No one's going to stop you. You don't need to wait for black people to give you permission to help black people. The thing is, if people really wanted to help black people, they'd do it themselves. But I'm not actually talking about a handout or help. I'm actually talking about betterment. I'm actually talking about a concept where it's like there's a lot that's been lost and we need to come together to get it back. Now, we talk about economics. I said the Asian community, they sell a lot of hair products to black women. That's a massive business. I would like to see the black women control that industry because they are the ones buying. You know what I mean? So they can circulate their wealth in their economy. I mean, but then the Asian community are not going to be willingly give up that information. We've seen it. They're not going to give up, their connects or give up or anything because they've actually built something for themselves. But my thing is, I want black women to actually own that. So in our circle groups, we teach them the value of that kind of business. That's what it is, and there's so much more.
It's great, black women, getting their own businesses. It's great. It's good. But I feel there's a slight level of paranoia in what you're saying, because it seems like you're saying the Asian community, the black community. So it's like the Asian community have got together and said, right, we're going to take over the black hair products.
No, you're saying that.
No,
you're saying
that's how I've understood it.
No, but that's why you will be welcome because you will come to these meetings with this crazy paranoia, and there'll be a whole of black sisters in the room. We're going, well, here's how you do this, and then we get this one non-black person step up and go, no!
I wouldn't want to
table
dominate
over.
these groups.
And I think, whoa, where's this coming from?
That's where comes in the bullshit, which really annoys me about non-black people in these black groups, because it's like, why do we have to deform to you? Like, what's it called? Reform? Like reform?
Yeah, reform. Yeah.
Like, why do
cater for needs?
Why do we need you lot? Why do we need permission?
You lot.
And if we do, other races,
non-black people. Because it's
to be specific,
you understand?
Because
black issues, non-black people. You are you.
Non-black. Like, if you want to help, that's good to help, but don't criticize the team.
But I'm not welcome. Raven's saying I'm not welcome.
No,
but you're saying I'm
what's
welcome.
Wrong?
Well, if this lady wants to run a group and you invite, that's obvious. But from my standpoint, there's no value.
Right. Let's make an example. If there was a group of Pakistani men, and then they were talking together, I'll be like, oh, okay, this is probably not my group. Maybe I should not to say that I'm against them or anything.
Let's say you was interested in.
But I know that's just.
But let's say you was really interested in Pakistani cause and you wanted to help out.
Yeah.
And they said, well, actually, you're a black woman, you can't.
Well, no. She will go over form her own Pakistani group.
Question about it, but don't criticize. You know what I mean?
Listen, this doesn't happen anywhere else.
It doesn't happen anywhere else but the black group. It does not, and it really pisses me off when I see it on YouTube.
And she wouldn't feel hindered. She wouldn't feel hindered by other people saying she can't do it.
I've already established.
At the end of the day, some philanthropists, they get up, they go to Africa on their own, and they do their own little good deeds that they feel they're doing.
But remember, we're not necessarily talking about charity and good deeds. We're actually talking about, not you, but what I'm saying, literally, that's where we get confused. It's like, there's a value in self-determination. Yeah, and that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you would. There's not like there's nothing that you can necessarily bring in that unless it's like this, right? If you are a boss here, my job is to get people as a boss here so you can talk on a level. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and right now I'm not seeing collectively black people acting as bosses. That's all it is.
I mean, I can appreciate what you guys are saying from the sense of I can't understand how it feels to be a black person living in the UK.
I suspect you can't, yes.
Okay.
I didn't know that, you know.
No. So I understand from the point of view where my knowledge of the issue, as much as I may read up on it and talk to you guys about it, will be limited, it will be capped to a certain extent. So, right. There's light, bro.
Yeah, don't worry. Camera's still on.
So, no, I didn't like. Just trail of thought. Yeah. So, because my knowledge of being of the black issues will be capped, having that group dominated by non-black people isn't going to be productive. Yes, I can appreciate what you're saying from that sense. The only issue that I'm having really is that there seems to be this, like, a border, like black people, non-black people, Pakistani people, Turkish people. It's like, maybe just be a bit relaxed with that.
No, not really. So,
No,
so
everybody has
there's a
that.
cause.
Why
There's a
do
cause.
you feel so harmed
Yeah.
by that?
I don't feel harmed. I just feel that people will have like a prejudice towards that thing. Like,
Prejudice.
there was a brother who came earlier talking about Somalian issues.
Yeah.
I'm really interested about it. I like cultures.
Yeah.
I like history. Like that's what I'm into.
Do you want to be on the board of directors for that organisation?
No. No,
I think it's
he
what
wants to do
is
something for
being
the
said
Somalian
here.
community. That's
You want to
yeah.
support it on the
women's
outside.
group. Would you have a problem with a women? Would you join a women's group?
I wouldn't join a women's group
don't
because
you drive your
women could
sister
feel
to the
threatened
women's
by
group?
me being there. They could feel that
Okay.
my intention for being there
That
would
may
be
be similar with the black
It's
community.
very similar because the way you're behaving now is exactly that. The difference is black people are unified and talking to you about how your behavior is very normal for non-black people, right? And the thing, it's not
describe the behavior. Sorry.
Well, what I'm saying,
Just highlight where I'm going wrong.
Offended by
it's
an
not
all
as wrong.
black.
Yeah, it's like I agree, but
Like how
it's I agree, but it's like the but.
I think what it really
I'm just
comes
sharing.
down to.
We're just bouncing ideas.
I think what it really comes down to is just the empathy part of the people are not people's your idea of what would make a black betterment building isn't necessarily what we think is going to make better for black betterment building.
fine, yeah.
And because this is my personal view, because we are quote unquote the victims of whatever supremacy is out there or being held down, it is our pains, our if a victim of, again, it seems a bit dramatic.
Well, I'm
but
a
if a
minority
victim of-
myself, so I've been through prejudice. You know what I mean?
if a victim of rape comes forward, you listen to their testimony, you listen to their story, right, and you try to help them out. You don't necessarily tell them what to do, or it's got to go along the lines of that.
I'm just sharing my ideas.
Bro, I'm not against you.
He's sharing
I'm not. It's not a thing of we're demonizing you.
You haven't really said stuff that I agree with everything you're saying. You'll say something, but then you'll kind of say words that will kind of attack me or assume that I'm. It's your mentality.
you
It's
not
that
think-
crazy mentality.
I never said crazy.
We're just sharing ideas.
I never said crazy. See, I don't think your ideas are crazy. What I'm saying is, it's like we reserve the right to show self-determination. When we say building, that means something was destroyed. We're trying to build it back up. Yeah, and you yourself in your culture have gone through it, and you have the right to do that. And we support you by not being there, because we understand there's a value in self-determination for yourself. Right? So I'm saying, so that's where we're at. But for you to be offended by people who are in a low position, seeing the value in building themselves up. So, for example,
I'm not offended by that.
well, what I'm saying, there should be no buts. There's more buts in a porn video. It's literally, it's just like, every time people speak, it's weird. Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is, right, there's a lot of butts going on here.
There is, there's another butt. No, big juicy butt.
Okay,
Let's go.
I don't have to agree with you 100%.
Raven's been watching some videos. Man.
If we agree with each other 100%, there's no point in coming here. I agree with that your community needs support groups, black empowerment, is it?
Black and better.
Black betterment, okay, yeah.
All of that.
I agree with that. Right? I'm not, but there's a slight area where he's saying that I couldn't be
trying to
able
say
to
second
support that group. Exactly, thank
There's
you.
none. Because look, the Chinese man build up their thing, the Indian man build up their thing.
Yeah.
What's wrong if we want to build up our thing? We're at the bottom of the social ladder, man.
If I wanted to help,
We're
No,
not saying
but
you
we
know
don't
what,
need
you
no
can come with a
hand.
solution. We don't need you belittling what we're trying to do. Because we
come
already know which is what caused us to manifest this movement.
Yeah, you know what
have
it
my
is?
opinions.
You know what it is? Sorry, you know what it is, bro?
I can really understand.
Every other people galvanize self-reliance themselves naturally. It just so happens that black people have not done that naturally. They haven't come together naturally. So there's a lot of speech of doing it going on right now. Personally, if I had it my way, we wouldn't even. Personally, if I had it my way, we wouldn't even be out here talking about it. We would just be getting on with it and building ourselves up.
And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of doing, but the problem is because we're not so collectively unified, that sometimes you have to do outreach videos. And in those outreach videos, people like yourself hear it, then you have an opinion. But the other community are so, from birth, they're so well knit that they don't need to do outreach because everyone's, and that's what I'm saying, as a community, we've been completely torn apart.
Is it fair to say, and this is only from my observation, that if there was an Indian group or an Asian group or things like that, people don't say anything, but when there is a black group, people do seem to have opinions about it.
Yeah, we do.
Would you say
like,
that?
oh,
we always get barriers.
What do you mean, like a negative?
Yeah, it's like
connotation?
what are they doing? What are they trying to do? Kind of.
It's like a conspiracy.
Yeah,
We're trying to keep a conspiracy.
I can give you a
And
very
if
pertinent
anything,
example.
we're wearing a heart on our sleeve,
that could
innit?
be in our subconscious or
I think that could be in a
program.
general
It's a program.
subconscious. I wouldn't say that that's in my subconscious.
No,
You need to take yourself out of the conversation because no one's blaming you.
I'm saying it's a general thing. I'm just noticing that people come to Raven all the time and say, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" But the other things, no one seems to bother.
Generally,
Like Raji and odds down the road.
a lot of communities generally in the UK do have a prejudice against black people.
Yeah, admit that, yeah.
Of course.
That's all he's saying. So
I'm not
like
saying
Marcus,
that's not out
like what happened with Marcus Garvey, what his own people sell him at. What we're trying to do is just keep it within the, you know what I mean, establishment. It's not a personal thing. It's just till we build up, as he said, that same level. We want to be able to delegate on that same level. It's nothing to do with race. We've got bare white people in gang. There's a lot of people who support us. We ain't a colour team.
I'm not talking about gang. I don't know enough
no,
about
but
it.
what I'm saying is that links up to what, because we're supporters of what he does. You know what I mean?
That's another thing as well, yeah. Just because not everybody who talks about black betterment is a part of gang.
Yeah.
Not every black person that stands.
I'm not talking about gang at all.
I'm just saying in general. Yeah. We support what he does because we see the essence of what he's trying to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think it's a beautiful thing. There's not many people who's ready to commit that kind of...
rather than sitting at home, he's out in the cold trying to support his community.
By him saying this, it's not saying he doesn't want to help other races. Yeah. But right now we have to build up our... If our house is burning, we've got to look after the house and pull it out first, isn't it?
It's definitely positive what he's doing.
Yeah, so it's just that concept. So
don't look at it personal, because that's what you won't see.
But what the brother brought up is, what is going on in the back of our two things? What is going on in the back of our minds where when we see black people do this, we feel that we have to like superimpose our will. That's because that's what we're seeing, right? And the second one, which makes me go blank, it was a very good point. We lost it. It was a very good point. But that one there, what is happening in the subconscious? Which I think as weeks going by, you might be seeing. You're saying you're seeing a pattern, but you're not seeing it anywhere else. So, what do you think that is? Why do you reckon that is? That every time black people get together and they talk about this concept of betterment, that this kind of like wanting to join, because if all these people really wanted to join, then we'll be in a better place already, right? So do they really want to join, or is it some other reason that people talk about? Is it because someone says you can't do something that you want to do it? You know, like your mum says don't go in that door, you're going to go in the door, right? Yeah. I'm just thinking what it is. I don't know. Maybe you could tell me.
From your perspective.
Yeah. From my perspective,
how this speaking to camera, man.
I don't really care about camera. I'm just talking to the brothers.
It's the audience. You've got to address it on a bigger scale, man. This is where we're going wrong.
From this particular example, the way this topic came about was Raven came and he mentioned about a discussion he had with another member, Ahmed, who was here. And I said, maybe from his perspective, because he's from Egypt, where you have black people and white people living there, and you'll have members of your family who will be black or white, it might seem a bit foreign, the concept, to have a group which would be only for one group. And then one thing led to another. That's all it was.
Yeah, but I think that's actually...
If you was Chinese and you had your own group and you brought that topic to me, I would be talking about that with you now as well.
Really? You would be?
Absolutely.
So Chinese people have like a... Well, there's infrastructures...
Because you started this conversation when you're talking about Ahmed, right?
No, but the thing is, what I'm saying is all these groups you talk, they have their own kind of betterment groups.
Of course they have.
Yeah. And they're much more...
You know what? I think what they might be on, what they might be on is... If you came across a Chinese group, they might all just be talking Mandarin, so you wouldn't even know.
You wouldn't even know.
Yeah, fair enough.
And another group might be talking Urdu, so you wouldn't understand what they're saying. But because we're talking with a language that we all share in common, everybody tries to weigh in.
But here's the point I was going before I forgot. I actually made suggestions, and those suggestions were so extreme. And what were those suggestions? When you hear someone practicing racism, let black people know. I've never met one non-black person who's agreed to this shit. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Now, if I was a woman,
what happened to that person? Then?
Well,
Saying I reported it to you.
Yeah, well,
I asked you why.
well, and here's the answer, right? Absolutely nothing.
You've met one now.
Here's what we'll do. Absolutely nothing. So, for example, if you let us know that your uncle, who runs a factory, doesn't like black people, we'll make sure that black people don't go there. We'll make sure that we don't go and try to work in the factory or even patronise the factory. It's like, why would we support someone who hates us? You'll be doing us a favour.
Yeah, but you admit yourself that racism is almost in the subconscious of particularly white people, perhaps.
Yeah.
So that it may be they're almost just saying it as. I don't know if you necessarily label everyone as racist. There's a lot of terminologies people use.
Well, like I said,
and if some of them could fall into.
Some of them are racist and they don't even know.
And that's the thing. Some of them are conditioned.
I took issue to your terminology, didn't I? When it was Shakara that was using the white man, and it got into a discussion. And to me, I thought, well, hang on,
there's a historical context to what that meant, and we
and I get that. But at the time,
But so I'm not there talking about like the odd word that I'm talking about. Someone is a practice. Like you've got the uncle who hates black people, and he will make sure that they don't get hired at his work. He'll make sure that he crosses the road. Yeah, he will make sure it's his duty to make sure black people have a hard life, right? In whatever aspect.
To maintain the oppression.
Yeah, because words is just like the front end of something else, isn't it? Right? So in the back end things are going on. If someone spews a certain kind of supreme hatred, then that means they're practicing something else that got them there, right? So I'm saying, but once again, let's go back. Non-black people want to join. I've made a request. There's not one non-black person who's agreed to this term.
But I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Okay, well then that's
just to clarify.
Well, there you go. Then we're good then.
You're doing something really positive.
Why don't we make a non-black betterment?
I just want to clarify my position in case I may have been misunderstood.
It's fine. Yeah.
First of all, what Raven's doing is positive. Because rather than being at home watching TV, he's out here in the cold and he's trying to support his people. So that's really good, right? Now, I wasn't against what you said regarding reporting racism.
Yeah.
What I suggested was my suggestion, and actually, I'm doing that for my own community. As I said, we have our own group and we give talks and we go to festivals and write articles. So the advice that I gave for your community, and you can take it or not, it's up to you.
Let's just say,
when you say your community,
no problem.
Do you mean your area or your
Turkish community? Turkish community. So we have like a historical community. We talk about our history.
Is it just for
heritage.
Turkish people?
It's not just anyone can appreciate it, because we was called by Hendon Library in Black History Month and we were talking about the blacks.
That's what I was saying. Your contribution is good if it teaches the Turkish people and calls them away from
but they know about it.
Hold on. Let me give you something.
Because this is the reason I gave that advice is because I take that advice for myself.
Good.
Whether you want to take it as a community or not, totally up to you. I'm not going to impose that on you.
Let me make it more tangible, because one of the challenges black people face is we don't like tangibility when it come out here. Right?
It can't be subjective,
right? It's like this. If me and this brother come together, right? We're in a meeting room and we're going to make a factory that makes footballs, right? Once we get our act together and the factory makes footballs, we're going to come to you and give you the football. That's where you sit. If me and this sister have a play, we're going to sit back, write a play, and by the time the play is fully done, you as a non-black person are welcome to come and pay your money to watch the play. You know what I'm saying? It's like so you are involved, but you're involved upon completion. You don't need to be part of the building process. It's like we've achieved the goal, we've done what we're trying to do, and you're welcome to be a paying public person.
I've never lost the debate.
That's what it is, because that's where tangibility is. That's important. That's valuable.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
No one is
Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
I'm like Muhammad Ali.
That off the guy. Hard times. Yeah. So
take him on with it.
So that's what I'm trying to say. And for me, I think sometimes when we get this wishy-washy talking, we forget the actual tangible what we're trying to do. We're trying to get that kind of betterment. Yeah. So things are completely not. I've got this idea. It's like we want to get things done, and at the end, things can actually economics can be generated. Like money can be generated, culture can be generated. Blah blah blah. So that's what it is. That's what it is.
And part of empowerment is actually doing it yourself, not getting help from outside or from someone else.
Exactly. That's what it is. So that's the
psychological actually thing that they teach.
That's the bit I have an issue with.
No, that's
not that I want to take over. Yeah. I'm saying we want to be people of the other community should lead on that. I'm not saying that at all.
That's what's going to happen.
But it's the intermingling of people in projects, be it at work, NGOs,
but you'll be
or
hired.
other projects.
You can be hired. You can be hired. Does that make sense? So the black people recognise, you know what? We actually need a particular person who our skills doesn't cover. We'll reach out and hire you. And then you can join that way. But the discussion will come from black people.
How do you feel about the intermingling of races?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
What do you mean by intermingling? What does that even mean? Like,
At all levels.
Like talking,
we're doing here.
Friends, marriage.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Oh, you're here now.
Listen, I'm a Muslim. I have friends of many different races, ethnicities.
So you can understand, because I'm Muslim as well, why I'm having a difficult understanding this.
I don't think it's to do with being Muslim at all.
I understand, but I kind of think there's it's coming from an angle of lack of understanding. Now, as a black Muslim, me doing black economics and social stuff with Raven, it's not me excluding you. Because we will pray feet to feet and Raven will not have anything to do with that. Right? We will establish our mosque and whatever, and we were doing our Islamic things when Raven's not there. We will sit under scholars from India, from Pakistan, from Saudi, from Qatar, from Nigeria. We will do those things together. But we're talking about economically trying to better ourselves. We're not saying, we're not going to have anything to do with you. And what we are actually saying is, the quicker and sooner we're left to better our own activity, we'll be in a better place to deal with other people as well. If we have our...
you non-black people know this. That's why I'm saying sometimes these conversations are so wishy-washy. It's like, you know this, everyone knows.
There is this sort of like it's an Islamic one, or it seems like one coming from Muslims, or are you black or are you Muslim first?
That's a silly question. That's a silly question. We
yeah.
spoke about this with Somali brother
right.
as well.
But people,
that's the question we got.
But people,
one's ethnicity, one's a face.
Right, but when you talk about black betterment, people automatically think, you're being given a choice now. Yeah, either you are pro your religion or pro your ethnicity. And you're either treacherous to one or the other. You can't be both. Now, for me personally, I think they're two different sort of aspects of my life. Like, if you have a room, you have a bed in there, you have a lamp, you have a table. Like, they can all fit in that one room. Why am I having to exclude? You can either sleep on the bed or have the cupboard. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. As a Muslim, I've been given commands to look after my people. And there are, I was just thinking about it. The Messenger of Allah, when he came straight to his people. Didn't run to Ethiopia. Yeah, he sent some people there, but he didn't run to Ethiopia. He didn't run to England. Yeah, he galvanized his people, right? And when they were solid, they expanded. It was only after they had that community cohesion, that they were allowed, that they were able to go elsewhere and show strength. Right?
There were non-Arabs amongst them as well.
What's that?
There were non-Arabs among them.
Right, there were non-Arabs among them. Yeah. But we're talking about the bulk. Generally, we're not saying that even in black betterment movements, there are people of other races helping. What we're saying is, you don't have to come under Raven's banner.
Not as an employee, as he's suggesting.
There
were a lower rank.
Would you not want to be employed? Would you not want to be employed then?
Would I not want to be employed?
Yeah, if we...
I don't mind being employed by black people.
There you go. So then you're winning. No, you're getting paid. So.
I'm getting paid.
So basically, are you saying the Prophet is doing the same as like what Raven is trying to do? Like
I'm saying all peoples did that. All the messengers, especially the messengers of the children of Israel, they came to Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some odd people come in from other communities and what have you, but their first, foremost intention was to rectify their own people.
Exactly.
You have to identify problems and have solutions, right? And one of the problems I'm seeing is there is a value in self-determination. There's a value in ministers to come together and realizing what is that is our trouble collectively and find solutions for it. That process is important. So that's why non-black people, there's no need for that process, because that's important, that we have to be self-sustaining in the low levels of this kind of development thing. That's what it is. Yeah, but should she be your friend? Yes. Should you pray together? Yes. Should you buy footballs from his factory? Yes. Doesn't matter, innit? But for me, this is just normal. Like, and I know you guys know it's normal. But yet, when black people start talking about this concept, it becomes like a fairy tale. It's like, you're gonna blow up the world, and what about marrying me? And you're gonna disappear into Pluto, and we'll never see black people ever again. I'm like, who told you that? What book have you been reading? Crazy stuff, right? So I don't know, but I just entertain it. It is what it is. Whatever, right?
But it's like Raven said. Do you think that maybe somewhere in the subconscious there is a fear that black people, when they come together, are gonna like run amok on the world and start mistreating people and start enslaving them.
We've never done that though.
Is there?
But anyway,
I've
never done that though. I know people that have.
I do know that generally, in most communities, there is some form of prejudice against black people. I don't know about the level that you said.
Yeah.
So
because it's mad because I just find it really strange. Like I said, you know, like people like I think I can see what I saw Raj and Arj just down there a second ago, and I have zero interest in what they're talking about. I can't lie to you. Arj is a Muslim and he's got an Asian background, and not that I'm ignorant to learning it. I just if that's their thing. Yeah. That's what he finds pride in. That's what he's excited about. Yeah. Let me leave him to it. We're still going to pray next to each other.
Two different guys from two different religions, and they're controversial about each other's beliefs and stuff, but yet they come together for the community of Punjab, right? And that's what it is. But no one is actually jumping in and saying anything. No one. Yeah.
You came to me, by the way.
No, I started this conversation. I had it there, and I came back, and you came. And you're always welcome. If I'm talking, you're welcome to speak in it. But before we, like I said, there's a segment called Our Corner, which I want to cover now, and Sister would like to join in, right? And you guys are a welcome guest. So we're going to start Our Corner, right? And the question we're going to have is going to be a quick one, yeah? What is it that black people can do less of and more of that can get us closer to betterment? Yeah. So what is it that we're collectively doing that we could do less of, and what is it that we're collectively not doing that we should do more of to get closer to betterment? So that's the Our Corner. Make sure you remember that one. There. We're starting now.
See, that example. There you go. That makes me understand now that I wouldn't be able to contribute positively to that because I wouldn't know.
Oh well. Yeah, but what you can do is listen.
Concept, I can listen. Absolutely.
And then you can learn.
In that context, I can say, yeah, Raven, I agree with you. That's something that the black community can discuss.
Yeah.
Because now, knowledge of it.
Unfortunately, there's only 4 black brothers and sisters I can see here, but everyone's welcome to give their example. But you guys, like I said, is there anything that we're not doing or we could do more of?
I think I was going to start with what we're doing too much of.
What is that we're doing too much of?
I believe what we're doing too much of is what ironically we're doing now, is talking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talking that we're doing, and I understand there is a need for it, but eventually we're going to need to minimise the amount of talking we do and exposing of strategies as well. Sometimes I feel like the reason why we are able to be sabotaged so much is because we're just out and open about it and thinking that everybody has our welfare in mind. And I genuinely don't believe that. Be they whatever faith they are. Yeah, some people claim to be your supporters and your helpers, but realistically they don't have anything. They don't have anything good for you in their mind, except for you to follow what they want you to follow.
So the thing we should be doing less, you're saying, is the talking, and the thing we should be doing more of the doing. But how do we get to do the doing? Like, what is it that we can come together? Like, what organisation can we form, or where are we meeting, or what is the plan of action that we should do more of?
Right. So groups like yours, like Mount Melanin, are a good means of communication. Yeah. Covert communication where we can do things, we can call people to doing activities away from the spotlight of other people. More of those WhatsApp groups, more of those events, more seminars, even though that is talking, but more seminars about what parts of the market are lacking, like what economic opportunities there are for there, like skilling people up, teaching them basically just basic business models, just showing someone how to write up a basic business plan. I don't think I could write up a business plan if I told you now.
Right. Well, then that's something you need to learn, right? You personally, right? So let's see what we're identifying, right? There is a value, in actually black people finding a way to network, right? So the tangible moving step forward I can say is, you just mentioned things like WhatsApp and that, but if you can actually start your own collective group, right, and go and add as many people, what we want to do is every time information becomes available, it spreads amongst the community, the digital community, as fast as possible. So you go out there, you can make a WhatsApp group, it could be called Black Betterment Building, whatever, add all your family, your friends, and literally, that particular group is just for constructive works, right? But then eventually, we're going to want to be meeting up in halls. We want to action some of these plans, right?
Yeah.
Right, there has to be a particular thing we're trying to do. So it could be like a lot of people from non-black communities approach me and say, "Do you guys actually put your money together?"
I was going to say that pooling the money and the resources is so important. You can't understate it. I think generally one of the things that for me makes me a little bit apprehensive about that is.
Sorry.
And I don't know if it's to do with conditioning. It may be to do with conditioning, or it may just be because I know a lot of people that aren't trustworthy. But I have a bit of issue in just giving my money to black people, just because I have so many examples of black people squandering the wealth of their communities.
So I've heard this before, right? And you always want to be careful when you give your money to anyone, right?
Yeah.
That's standard, right? But what is it about? What is happening where people feel that they cannot give their money to black people? Like, what needs to be done to assure you that this isn't going to be
So people
squandered?
need to demonstrate integrity. That's number one. Yeah, they need to have a track record. And they
Say
need
customer
to,
service.
Customer service is highly important as well. Right? That's one of the things I try to pride myself on.
Restaurants just take notes on it. I'm just saying.
Now,
Some African ones. Too,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Take notes.
right. So,
Yeah.
I will go to English Frank.
so you're saying that an issue, because I've heard this before, and I think Shakra talked about it before as well.
Yeah.
And he feels that maybe we're judging black restaurants too harshly.
Yeah.
But I think you've identified that some restaurants, not all, that they need to work on customer service.
It's not just restaurants. It's generally business establishments. It could be shops. You know, everyone knows the stereotype of the Caribbean food shop. Like,
What you want?
yeah, I mean, I have that.
We don't have that.
I mean,
Know what I'm saying?
right. But I mean, are we judged too harshly? Because, for example,
I was actually talking about on a bigger scale, to be honest,
ahead,
rather than the restaurants. But no, I don't think. For example, like there's a restaurant, a Ghanaian restaurant in Streatham, and I go there quite often.
What's it called?
It's called Asafo.
Okay, Asafo
Yeah,
in
it's
Streatham.
on 60 Morris Road. Yeah, Streatham Hill.
Give them your money. Give them all your money. Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
Ghanaian restaurants, small. The food is good, but the customer service is extraordinarily poor.
Okay.
Extraordinarily poor. You kind of get the vibe of the people that they hire. Probably like the daughter of an auntie or some other. Like there's no formal process. You go in every a month or two. There's a new waiter. The amount of times where I've actually had to calculate my bill before I got there, because I know they're going to shortchange me or they're going to give me some wrong food, and then when I talk to them about it, they're going to show me some attitude.
Right. Okay.
You know, I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to have to wait an hour or two to get my food, even though I pre-ordered before I got there, and then the woman's going to look at me like, you know, like I don't know, like I just killed her son or something.
Have you given feedback to these people like in outside like you know your experience and?
So I spoke to the dude who looked like he was like, say, the manager in charge, and I brought him aside and I said, look, I don't want to be complacent, yeah, but your staff is acting as if like she got dragged in here this morning. Like the attitude, the food, the service, like it's like, can you sort it out? And he goes like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Next week, same woman, same thing. Seemed that it might even got worse because of the feedback.
So I don't know if this is something we have to highlight as an issue when it comes to customer service. I don't think so. I think there's plenty of establishments that we don't go to that are amazing, but obviously these particular.
I would like to know them, bro. Because I would go.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, there's actually a Ugandan restaurant in Leytonstone. Yeah. I'll have to get the name for you, right?
Yeah. No, I haven't, but Ugandan sounds good still.
Matter of fact, you guys talk about it. I'm going to see if I get the name, sorry, because I supposed to go picture next week.
But when I'm talking about money, I'm talking about like pulling money into an account. I don't want to name no names, but like I know real life individuals who've come to the community and said, you know, we need to build a new mosque, or we need to build a new community center. Here's the account. The money goes into the account. That person leaves the country. The money vanishes. No trace.
Right.
No trace. So that's the sort of thing that I'm worried about. If we were gonna have some sort of a black pool of money, you would have to have some sort of a board. You know, in order for money to be released, it would have to be countersigned by 4 people before you can even move a pound. You know, and those people need to be called to account. You need to have monthly accounts of ins and outs.
What was the people who paid before? What were their characters like before receiving the money?
To be honest, I think they're people I don't know them prior to the events.
Well, that's the issue,
but
right?
the issue is their attitude. But the thing is, they come to their communities as though they are legit people, though. So,
what are we gonna do? Like, what can we answer in the sense of? if this is a ongoing thing,
vet the
like
people.
trust,
Yeah.
how do you do this? How do you vet a person?
I think first off, I think that person's got to be elder. I feel like elder people have less of a zeal to run away and spend young people's money, because effectively they're on their way out. They have children.
But surely there's something you're trying to do. Surely it's like, we're putting our money together to buy this thing.
Yeah.
Like, how does that fall short? Like was that not a good idea to begin with? Or was it one man who was controlling the money? And
one man controlling the money,
right,
or maybe two people or three, but there was no accountability of where the money was going and how long it was sitting there. No one could see if any money had left on a monthly basis or on a daily basis. Yeah, there would have to be some sort of a transparency.
What about contracts? Like, couldn't you have legal contracts that where it says like, people sign if they don't deliver this is going to happen?
100%.
You know what I mean?
You could do that and hold the people to account.
Yeah. Just so you know, right? I think what you guys are saying is very correct, right? But I just like to gather that it isn't like a universal, widespread thing.
Yeah.
There are plenty of black restaurants and black trustworthy people, but it's just unfortunate that
I'm sure they are, but it's just the more popular ones and bad experiences sticking to people's heads more than.
Do you not feel like there's a disconnect in culture? But it's like people who might be more financially organised are in a different sector of life to people who are financially disorganized and come from maybe a community or area where they are more prone to scamming. So, for example, if we come from, say, the hood or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a lot of the guys from there who have no money might be more prone to scamming than someone who comes from a more financial literacy background.
But you find that there's a lot of people that are financially well off or work in financial organisations, and they're scamming the system left, right, and centre.
Maybe that's because that's why they're well off.
They have the means of doing it and then covering it up. Where like if you got like a certain MasterCard or whatever, and you go to the bank and you say someone's used it fraudulently, and you have the background and you have the wealth to sort of demonstrate that actually you don't need to do the fraud yourself. They'll refund you the money, but you could actually, someone of your status could actually not be beneath stealing money from banks and stuff. So
maybe, yeah. So what is it that we should? What is it that we can be doing more of? Like, so obviously you're saying more talk, less talking, more doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm assuming less scamming now, if that is going on, right?
Yeah.
But there must be something. There must be a tangible step that makes sense.
Look,
there must be something. So
I think there's a lot of venues now which are like which are free to be hired. Yeah, like I saw a video on Content and Scattered Minds' video the other day.
Dinoka, yeah.
Right, yeah. So those sort of events are like organised classes, which have like tangible goals. Like if it's gonna be like, I don't know, we want to build a school. We're gonna hire 50 unemployed black people who have maybe not had the greatest employment history or lifestyle, and maybe they're going to jail or whatever. Teach them how to paint, decorate, lay flooring, right? And then when we buy the property, we get them in there to fix it up. To do, teaching people a trade or something.
Anything you want to add to that, sis?
Generational wealth. Instead of thinking, I'm just going to get rich for probably me and my family, think of like generational wealth as well.
So like we're making money and then push it to the next. So you're making enough money so you can actually second generation it, third generation it.
Businesses as well, like
assets
and like I think I'm not sure. I think mainly probably with the Caribbean. I'm not sure about the African community, because I'm Jamaican anyway, my background. Like what we do when, let's say, parents die, we just sell off a house and then boom, that's it. I feel like we should just like start renting out houses and just like income at last. So that's it really. I don't have that much to say.
No, that's actually important, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like how to actually maintain wealth, how to maintain money, how to have an income.
And materialism. You know what I'm saying? With like putting our money into some like worthless shit. Like even me, like
think buying up properties is a thing as well. I think our parents kind of flopped on that one in terms of like renting out and not buying when it was cheap. But I think maybe that is something we need to look into now ourselves and come together and buy up.
How many of us have inherited stuff? This is the thing. It's like some of us inherit something that makes our life easier, and some of us inherit something that makes life more challenging.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So how many of us actually inherit something? It's like, you know what, at a certain age we have a car, a house, and a job to go to.
Yeah.
I've never, they're very, very, not that many.
Yeah, no,
right? So this is why we've identified that many, not all, but many black people are starting from a very...
from the starting block.
Yeah, well, below that, halfway, right? So I'm saying is, I'm still trying to work out now, like, what is it that needs to be done to get people together to discuss these issues? Like, there has to be like a thing.
I think there has to be a level of sacrifice, to be honest. Yeah. And I think that's the main thing, to be honest. Right. There has to be a little level of sacrifice of... I saw it from my parents and people from my country, but maybe in the wrong direction, where they came over, they worked crazy, cleaning jobs back to front, like one shift after another, in order to put us through school, some even private school, get an education and then become workers. Whereas I feel like maybe we need to just do those hard jobs in order to amalgamate wealth, and just do it like some of the Asian guys do it. You know, like 3 families, and I know it doesn't sound practical, but 3 families in one house, maybe the brother, sister, husband-in-law, and that.
I'm not opposed to that. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that concept of like.
And then buying off and then reinvesting in the community. If there's 5 people, you help this guy to buy a property, which he circulates his wealth back into the black community, and then everyone helps that person until everyone has a property.
So if I can put that into the context of what we're saying now, what you're saying is like having families stay together for longer, to push their money together for a longer period, rather than moving out as early as you can to start renting. Try to actually, if you're going to move out of your place, you're moving into
a property that you own.
All right. Yes, this is a good point. So what is happening where a lot of people feel they need to leave young? So in certain communities they'll stay much older until they get married, but some communities they leave younger for a certain sense of freedom, right?
But then do you not think there's also, because I remember as a young kid as well, I remember some auntie saying as soon as such and such is 16, he's getting kicked out of the house.
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, I've heard that myself.
So, because I mean, being financially responsible for someone is a good task.
But then, surely by the time they're 16, if they're old enough to get kicked out, they're old enough to get a job, right? So that job, they could be the help paying the mortgage.
Well,
right?
in a country that's got a welfare state, they may not be able to look after themselves. They may be dependent on the government to look after them. Right. So intentionally, parent kick them out in order for them to go to the job centre or to the housing people and say, look, my mum kicked me out. Can I have a place? I'm not saying that I'm personally against that. Do you and what suits you, but
there's certain situations that keep people in the loop, don't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's front end beneficial. Like, okay, I'm making a certain amount of money, but you realise that you're in that position for long periods of time, and there's certain people out there they break that early. So they actually have a much more comfortable way of life because they have more coming in. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that it's similar to what happened in Wales, where they told the Welsh miners not to work because they'll make more money if they just get money from the government. But then they were dependent on it for years and years and years, and they lost their skills.
I see.
Which is a problem, right? So I think this is the.
There's an issue there.
Yeah. Becoming dependent is an issue, right? Like, fair enough, you can get free stuff, that's great, but if you're constantly in the loop, I don't know how great that's going to be.
Yeah. So then again, maybe it's, if there is the free stuff, maybe it's you utilising it in such a way that it's not a detriment to you. So if it's...
Well, you also want to be learning, don't you? So if you're in a period where you are getting some kind of free subsidies, you want to dedicate the free time you have to actually learn a craft. I always try to learn so one of the things to do more of, learn a craft. So if I can fix your plumbing, I can charge you what I want. If I can do the double glazing, I can charge you how much you would charge.
Yeah.
Now, if we're practicing black betterment and group economics, when I want my windows done, I'm going to look in the direction that you've given me and hire your uncle, your auntie who does windows.
Yeah, cool. You might do that though, but what about the Eastern European guy? Yeah, and big up the Eastern European guy because he's a hard worker. He comes and he undercuts the price that I'm giving, for example.
Right. So that's why. So that's why we do. We have to have like community pride, right, and community betterment. So we have to think, okay, because we're starting out, and certain people are coming from a different place, they're more likely to undercut and just completely just corner the market, right? But if you actually understand that there's a value in me using you, like there's something I can talk about, it's something I can rap about in a record, it's something I can tell my aunt about, then the extra £1, £2, £4, £8 is going to be much more beneficial.
Yeah.
That's how I would see
100%.
Now, we're starting something called co-unity spend, right? So I don't know if you're aware of this, but you all can join in. What we're asking the community, is if you have a black business, so let's pretend you have a black shop, and you sell groceries and stuff. What we want to do is we're going to pick one time in a month, to visit that one shop. We're going to call all black people to go there. We're going to we're going to literally shop in there. The shopkeeper's going to give us a little interview of how he or she got the job, and then we're going to shop there. We're going to have our hashtags. We're going to take pictures, and we're going to train black people to practice black economics. Right? That's called co-unity spend, and we co-unity spend. If you want to email, it's ourcorner2018@gmail.com if you have a business. And basically, we have to train people how to shop black. Because you're right, if we're not trained to shop black, as soon as someone comes with a £1 cheap product, we're going to go there, right? Yeah, but there's a value in it. There's a value in actually trying to support your own community and build it up, right?
But on that note, though, there is also a value in taking pride in your work as well.
That's the difference. So what you've mentioned the poor customer service.
Yes.
So we have to have a solution for that. One solution I thought is maybe try to do a documentary or an actual booklet where we highlight the issues of bad businesses across the board and how actually to improve them. Like there's certain people they might get in business and they've had no training. You know what I mean? And they've had no training, so we might have to provide that training. And that could come in the form of a YouTube video. Literally, that's a tangible thing there.
Sometimes I don't even think it's a trainer. I'm thinking like, if your mother raised you right,
I was just going to say, if your
mother raised you right, you have manners.
Being, golden rules, or you treat people how you would like to be treated. If you walked into an establishment, I'm not saying they've got to treat you like royalty, but just a simple smile, an acknowledgement of someone's coming to actually use your establishment. It goes a small way.
Well, we could complain or we could try to find solutions for it. And what I would push forward is, on a base level, we talk to the people who we have the disagreement with, and we let them know privately. And we let them know that we won't be able to trade with you if you keep on having these kind of services. But in the long run, we can try to get like media people together to make videos on the value of good customer service.
I feel we need to train up. We need to train up a lot of the youth in terms of the media as well, in terms of usage of cameras, usage of a video camera, filmmaking.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Also, my brother has a comic. It's a black spiritual comic, and it's really great.
What's it called?
It's Old B Official Lionheart.
So when you say is he the inker, the penner, the pencilist, the concept person?
He's all of that. He's
is it a digital comic or is it online or is it paper?
Paper.
So this is interesting. So your brother's actually made a comic?
Yes, he's made it for like, let's say he started when I was like 17 or even earlier than that, so like nearly 10 years.
10 years. So where can we purchase this?
On Amazon.
On Amazon.
And so what's it called again? So
Old B. No.
OB.
Actually,
get it. So we're gonna show promotion here. So he does the writing, the drawing, the colouring.
Yeah, man.
Yeah? And what's his pen name? What's his name he goes by?
Well, he went by Lionheart, but I don't know what he calls himself now.
Alright.
But his name is Daniel Christie originally. So
we're gonna support that. Yeah, we have to support that.
Yeah, you gotta support
here's what it is, because here's the funny thing, right? I was making a card game where I was going to Africa. I'm still doing it. Where I'm paying people from Africa to.
See.
All right.
This is his, and he works in like media and that. You guys were talking about media.
Right.
This is his, these are his comics, that's him.
So this is comic here? Is that,
Yeah,
Can you touch it because I've got gloves on?
Yeah. Oops. I deleted Instagram for concentration purposes.
Okay.
So that's his cartoon. Yeah.
So you can get in Waterstones as well.
Yes, you can get it in Waterstones.
What's it? Do you want to promote his page? Is he private about it? Does he mind people's?
Yeah.
Where he get some followers?
What?
Yeah, promote your brother.
Just tell it. Just say the name so they can search it.
Official, okay.
There you go.
Black comic.
All right. So what's good about that is, for example, if we need illustrators, I can now go to your brother first and go, brother, I've got this budget. Can you draw this particular thing? Yeah, that's the network. There you go. That's the support we have to do. But yeah, these are the things we're talking about, right? But just to wrap up there, literally. So things to do less of talking, things to do more action. And obviously we were more particular with the improvement of customer service, the value of that, and also promotion of the skills, and also learning particular skills like your brother's skilled in actually producing comic work and stuff.
Let me correct that actually. It would be talking in an arena where we're open to criticism purely on the basis of black betterment. So
okay. Now, here's what I would say. I agree in the sense of like the problem when you come out here, everyone wants to have a 10p piece, right? What I would say is there's some very intelligent, disconnected brothers and sisters out there who never will come across us because we're in different walks of life, but they might catch a YouTube video and then we go, you know what? I agree with that. And I've been there many times, and someone just approached me as brother, can I talk to you for a minute? And these people have very valuable skills that we can put in a contribution pot.
You find that they're black or they're non-black?
Well, black in the sense of black, there's many black people who don't actually want to be on camera, but they saw the video, and when the camera's off, they go, "Can I talk to you? I've got these particular skills," but they will never know because they're not in our circle directly, right? So that's why there's a value. But yeah, you have to expect people are going to jump in and give their 10p piece every time we get together.
Do you think there's a stigma of black people jumping on camera? Is that why there's a lot of black people that don't want to come?
Well, look what happened to you, brother. Yeah, you come with the most respectful mannerisms. You're very kind and just, but yet even you're critiqued, right?
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm one person. I've never mistreated anyone here. I've never practiced any kind of racism. No. But yet I'm called a black supremacist. Yeah. Now, fair enough, some of the people have issues, and we don't want to, mistreat them for the issues. But what I'm saying is, this is the challenge of actually trying to help black people. You should expect it.
Yeah, I've got thick skin still. Not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, there was a week where I think I jumped on the camera with Kalam and I was criticised for it. And people don't realise that they see an hour or two on a Sunday and they think that you're pals and you go out to eat and all of that.
But that's the thing. There's purposes. So, for example, we're gonna have ideologies, right? And what it is we're passionate about ideologies, but we understand that at a certain point we're doing certain kind of work, so we're not going to have our ideological arguments tarnish the community betterment. So it might make sense for me to speak to a guy who we disagree on certain points to do something in a different area. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I think maybe sometimes what's understood by the wording as well, leave your religion behind. I think that's the key thing that sets off Muslims. I can't talk about any other community, but leave your religion behind seems to be like amazingly like inflammatory to Muslims. Yeah. Now,
I think they might think it means stop practicing Islam for 10 minutes.
I believe that a lot of people, like a brother said to me, can't read between the lines.
They really can't.
As a Muslim, I understand what you mean by the statement, leave it at the door. Yeah. But my religion is my way of life, so there's never ever going to be a way
it was Muslims who said that statement, leave it at the door. So even though the Nation of Islam is not seen as traditional Sunni, but most of them became traditional Sunni, and they carried on saying that when they were traditional Sunni, this is a statement that comes from the Islamic community, because they understood that there is a mistreatment going on for a certain group, and that group has different religions and non-religious people, and they realize if they stay there bickering about their differences, the bigger threat is going to consume them, and they won't have solutions for it. They'll say, look, let's forget about whether Buddha is correct or Jesus is correct for now, and let's work on trying to how can we stop the killing, stop the drug taking, because there's an issue. You know what I mean? So this is what is
But that is the thing. When it said, just to re-emphasize, when it said leave your religion at the door, doesn't mean you reset your mind and what is haram for Muslims, what's impermissible suddenly becomes permissible. No, if there's something which contravenes in my religion, for example, if someone would, not to say that would die to erect strip bars or whatever, but let's
say a pork eating contest.
Yeah, I'm not going to indulge in that.
You're not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. But I'm saying, no one would expect that. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes when we talk about black Burman, we like I said before, we go into the fairyland. Yeah. So well, what if this? What if a black man came and he became a mad scientist and he blew up the world? I don't know what that's got nothing to do with anything.
People always go to the most dramatic.
They should write comics. They should write comics. Yeah.
They go to the most dramatic conclusions about things which they perceive to be a threat. Yeah. And the thing is, the irony is the same thing is actually done to Muslims. When people embraced Islam, oh, my child's going to become a terrorist. And then you have Muslims saying, oh, but Islam's not about terrorism. Well, it's the same thing when you say, black betterment is the same as black supremacy. The page is off, well off.
But what I have to commend brothers like yourself who actually step forward, even though you're going to be critiqued, and sisters who come, even though you're going to be critiqued, and because you recognise that there's a bigger issue at hand, and trolls and so forth. It's not really relevant, is it?
It's not. No, the thing is, one of the things for me is embracing Islam at a young age. I went against my family, and my family are people who I love. And I know, and they're pertinent to my life as it stands now. So a bunch of people with fake names on the internet saying things that, it's not gonna. I've gone through worse than that. And I would call all the other people who get criticised on the internet not to pay any attention, and continue doing what they're doing.
No, I mean your work speaks for itself, and it's like when you're doing something, that is the answer to the critics, isn't it? You know what I mean? And you're here now trying to find solutions to challenges, so it is what it is. And the sisters out here, we're out here, brothers out here. So it's like, it is what it is. But I think one thing I do want to do is definitely have an outcalling where more black brothers and sisters come down and share their stories and share their skills, because we might not have all the solutions, you know what I mean? There might be someone out there who has a much better understanding of what is needed to actually get betterment achieved. And they're always welcome to come to our corner. So, come down, and don't forget, if you've got a business, that's our corner at 2008, ourcorner2018 at gmail.com, and let us know your business, because we want to come and systematically shop at your establishment and hopefully buy every single product, because if you have one shop, there's enough black people to come and buy your entire shop out. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to culturally train people to shop black and practice black economics and black betterment building. There you go, our corner. Have a good one.
My wife told me to shout her out as well, so shout out to her and my wife.
There you go.
Love you.
There you go. Hey. All right, sister. Cool. Have a good one, guys.
Content over everything. From your belly.
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. Listen. COE. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to Sky YG. I just listen to COE. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. I don't even listen to Sky Magic. Man, just listen to COE. Man, just listen to COE. Man, just listen to COE. If you see me, it's COE. Content over everything. COE.
Man, not even know BBC. Man, not even know ITV. Not even listen to the MUM. They just listen to COE.